here at Full Purpose and Heart, and today I'm doing a little collaboration with some other ladies on YouTube as we show you some how-tos in creating Christmas ornaments with your kids. Now my video is going to be more of like what Pinterest doesn't tell you, because most of these ideas I've gotten from Pinterest in the past and have tried to create with my kiddos, and there's always some kind of like hitch or something that needs to happen that Pinterest didn't tell me. When you look at the picture, it's like those Pinterest fails and pinspirations. So anyway, these are pinspirations that I've created with my kiddos, and I'm gonna throw in a couple of things that the Pinterest didn't tell you you probably should do to make it more of a success with your family. Let's head over to the table and get started. These are the supplies that you're going to need to make this star ornament. I have Elmer's glue to glue it down. These are just some craft buttons that I found at the craft store, and I've used Christmas style crafts or Christmas colors because they kind of match my Christmas tree, and I'm all about matchy-matchy. I have some hot glue to kind of speed the process along quicker, and then of course my craft sticks. Okay, so as I mentioned, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what Pinterest doesn't tell you. So these are the supplies that Pinterest asks you to have or tells you that you need, not the glue gun. But I'm telling you, if you're gonna be doing this with your kids, you're gonna wanna speed up the process, and a glue gun sometimes works best. So to put together this ornament, you need 4 craft sticks, and there's a couple of things that you can do now. I choose to use the actual glue gun and just put a little dot of glue right in the center of the stick, and you have 2 choices. You can either put together a bunch of these ornaments before you sit your kids down at the table and have them do it with you, or you can put the glue dot down depending on like how old your children are, and then just have them press the glue stick on the space so that they can kind of make their own star. If you want to do it that way, then, you know, of course that works as well. You can also use Elmer's glue. They recommend, or on Pinterest, on some Pinterest sites, they tell you just to put a dollop of Elmer's glue, but I have found that you need a large quantity of Elmer's glue to get it to stick to each other, as well as a ton of time. This is totally possible if you want to get like a little craft stick. Sometimes I use like a Q-tip. That's a great little tip if you haven't done it before. Get a Q-tip, put a dollop of glue on like a piece of aluminum foil, and then the kids can glue them and then like read them a story or do some other activity while you're waiting for the glue to dry, because you can't really pick up or move the stars if you're still trying to let the glue dry. And that's kind of hard when you're trying to make the craft. So there's that little suggestion. Now, from here, I am just gonna use the plain wood as the background, and then I'm gonna open up my fun little buttons. And some of these buttons have, I don't know if you can see, but some of these buttons have like the actual button hook on there. So you can cut this off if you have a good pair of shears, but I just like to glue it in a way that the button doesn't really get in the way. So like this way, and then it kind of like sticks up and it makes it a little bit 3D, okay? So let me show you now. Again, you can use Elmer's glue, but you just need to allow some time for the piece to dry, and then you know, it's kind of like foolproof. You just put a little glue. Now the problem is, again, the glue does take quite a bit of time to dry, and I don't really like to spend a lot of time because I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, so I use hot glue, and it just goes so much faster for me. And I'm all about speed. Yes, it's a fun memory with the kiddos, but sometimes you just gotta get her done, you know what I'm saying? So in retrospect, here are a couple things that I learned. I really feel like the hot glue gun is necessary because the Elmer's glue just was super slow and it didn't dry, so the buttons were always popping off, which made it really hard to get any progress made because they kept popping off. So that was a little bit tricky. The other thing I learned is that these buttons that have like the little hole in the back, like if you were gonna string something through it or whatever, these ones go last, and especially with the hot glue, it's great because then you can just glue on the outside here on the back, and then like we did, you kind of layer them onto your ornaments so that the little button piece is hidden. Because I don't want to go and like find scissors or something that's gonna like snip that off. I don't have like plastic cutting scissors if that's even out there. So that worked really great. But to actually glue them with the Elmer's glue was taking so much time and patience that my 4-year-old was struggling and I was struggling. So if mom and 4-year-old are struggling, then it's no good. Okay, here's another little tip that I learned. Lots of times I like to put glue on like a little piece of aluminum foil and then use a Q-tip as like a glue stick. Works great when you're working with paper. But with this type of a craft, it didn't work so good because the child needed to put so much glue on there and it just was very dainty. I found that I was actually applying more glue than the child was, and it just was not working out. So again, I highly recommend using a hot glue gun, which means that you're gonna wanna do this with a little bit older kids so that you can kind of guide their fingers when they're sticking their buttons on so that you don't have burned fingers in the end. But they turned out really cute. I'm a fan, and we'll probably do them again as years go on, or try and like get a little bit more crafty or whatever. So you can also paint your sticks. That's a step that lots of younger children can enjoy if you want to paint your sticks. But overall, it was a pretty good craft, so I'd say that these pictures on Pinterest aren't total lies. They are kind of fun to do, but a little bit more tricky than just putting buttons on a glue stick. So anyway, hopefully you guys found this educational and fun. Make sure you check at all of the other ladies who are doing their ornaments today so that you can get some ideas of other things that you can do with your kiddos depending on what age range you're working with and what other crafts and supplies that you have in your craft closet. Okay? Have a good one, guys.
This one.